Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about a couple different things. We're going to talk about Diablo. We're going to look at some of the other people's videos across the internet. I had a good weekend. Didn't really watch a lot of YouTube this weekend. So I'm going to watch, was it F Extra Life or Fextra's Life? Diablo, his final thoughts or what they will deliver. So we're going to go over that. We're going to watch Force Gaming's Warframe. I haven't played Warframe in such a long time. I was talking to Brainchild the other day. I was thinking about jumping back into it, and he gives us like an overview of the new expansion that came out for Warframe, so we're going to check that out. We're going to check out Jack Frags. He tried a game called Caliber, which is a free-to-play game. It's over on Steam, so we're going to take a look at that. We're going to look at IGN. They did a first review or first look at the Starship Troopers Extermination. So we're going to check that out. And then there's another game called Silica, which is an early access, and we're checking out Detox's Lab on YouTube, a very small YouTube channel, and he goes over what this game is. And well, that's what's on the show this morning. What's going on, Dustin? What's going on, boss? Jesse Mack, Water, Travis, how's everyone doing? I'm also setting up some stuff for Friday nights. I don't know. We're going to try to do it this Friday, like member stream. What I did was there's this little game, and I think this will be fun. Let me bring this up real fast. So there's this little game. It's called Ultimate Racer 2D. It's a top-down racer. It's a top-down racer. And what's going to happen is I put the top members that have been here the longest, right? So I put all your guys' names inside the racing game here, okay? So there's teams of stuff. I didn't name the teams minus the GXG, okay? All the names are the same. All the car teams are the exact same, so there's no advantage or not, so everyone's pretty much even across the board. And then what we're going to do on a member stream is that we're going to have a little race. We're going to have a little see who wins throughout the entire series. So that'll happen on Friday. That'll happen on Friday night member stream, probably starting at 10 o'clock, 10:30 on Friday night after I took my son in. So basically the way it'll work, let me guys show you real fast so you guys understand. Just do a random track. Right? So basically all your names are going to be over here, so you'll see what's happening. This is a qualifying, and I can change based on, I can zoom in or zoom out. And this will be members racing around the track inside this thing. I have no control over it whatsoever. It's just watching the AI do it. So right now they're qualifying, and there's different race car formulas, go-karts, motorcycles, regular cars. So this is basically what we're going to do for the member stream. Also, another game we're going to try to do is also, what's it called? Fall Guys, but you'll actually have to operate that. So as you can tell, you got all the names. These are all the top members in the oldest order. So the people that have been subscribed the longest or members the longest, these are all the people that are there. And obviously we can change them throughout the thing. So we're going to watch this, and basically I'm going to commentate over it. So basically that's what we're going to do for the member stream. So if you guys are interested in that, that's what we're going to be doing on Friday nights. Let me see what you guys are saying this morning. Come on, Jesse Mack. I think Blizzard will be ready come June 1st. I noticed only on 2 areas that there are also a small amount of rubber banding. Yeah, we're gonna talk about we're gonna go over Diablo a little bit. I played the Druid this weekend. I got to level 20. I basically cheesed it, right? So I did I don't know if anyone else did this method. There was this like little event that was happening, and all I would do is just do the event, log out, log back in, do the event, go to town, come back, do the event, and that's what I was doing with my Druid for the most part to get to level 20. Then I tried a couple dungeons out. I did the Stronghold and stuff. I'll talk about my experience in just a little bit. Travis says Warframe is still pretty good. Yeah, it's got a major update. Boss says, yeah, rubber banding stuff was lame. Got a small taste of it on certain zones. had like 6 primes. My favorite Warframe I have is Rhino Prime. I don't even remember what I had, Water. We're going to have to log back in and see what I had. It's crazy how many so-called bad or disappointing games that I play are good, but just too short. Case in point, 1886. 1886 was a fantastic game. When you get to watch people 5 days ago, Hogwarts Legacy posted into the shadows with Tom Felton. Let's see, 30. Not sure if you're going to do it, but you should set up early access Diablo 4 stream. I know you said you're taking your time to go through the campaign first, though, correct? I'm doing that too. What do you mean set up a stream? I don't want to set up too early on a stream on YouTube because it just doesn't work. What's going on, Mr. Luke? Yeah, boss. So we'll do a Fall Guys 1 week. You know, get people that want to play. It's a free to play game, so everyone can jump in. I think it'll be fun. We can host our own server now. We can create our own boards now. It'd be interesting. No, I didn't kill a Shava this week. I didn't have. I wasn't on when the times were going for it. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do what I did, Water, during the beta. I just want to get to level 20. All right, so let's go to our first video here. I did make it to 1.25. I'm gonna make it to 1.25. Actually, it's short enough. It's 9 minutes. We don't need to make it 1.25. Let's just watch this and see what happens.
Talk a little bit about Diablo 4 and my impressions from the server slam this past weekend, where I think the game is at 2 weeks before launch, and whether I think it's going to be ready to go based on what I've seen. So
mind you, let me prerequisites this. I played Druid this weekend, and I'll have to tell you, I played on tier 2, right? I played on tier 2, and it was rough in some places. Not rough like unenjoyable, but rough is like I died 3 or 4 times on the Stronghold boss. I did beat him, but man, the build that I had, and I was going for the lightning build. I was doing a storm build type of thing. The pools of poison or blood or whatever that you're doing in that certain stronghold, it is just brutal, right? Because as a druid, I have to hit to get my meter up, and then use my lightning. It was rough. It was rough. I don't know if anyone else experienced from last beta to this beta. How was your character? I played the druid last time. I played the barbarian last time. I dabbled in the barbarian this time, but I really wanted to see the druid because I know I'm going to be the barbarian when the game comes out, but I wanted to see if I wanted to be the druid, and I don't know, man. And I still can't really judge the druid because the whole thing's not open up for them yet, you know? I don't trust this dude's word. His demonic guide of Lost Ark was horrendous, and the guy has no clue how to play demonic at all. I mean,
first thing I want to talk about, which was a major sore point of mine in the first beta and the second beta, that wasn't really an issue for a lot of people, was performance. This was a lot better in this beta for me. I had a lot less rubber banding, a lot less connection issues, a lot less lag. I don't know if it's because there were just less people playing the server slam, which was clearly the case. A lot less stuttering. The game just ran better for me in general. I heard from other people that the game...
It ran really smooth for me. I didn't have any glitches or rubber banding like you guys said. I had nothing on my end.
Stuttered a little bit.
But then again, when I played, I was playing usually late in the evening.
But here and there, depending on their system. So I wouldn't say it's flawless in this area, but it was certainly markedly better than what I've seen before. And that gives me a lot of hope going into the launch of this game in terms of the performance aspect of this game. It could just be that there were less people playing, but it is a good sign. If there were less people playing and those problems still persisted, that would be a really bad sign. The fact that those are now gone gives me a little bit of hope that this game's performance will at least be in a better shape than a lot of PC titles that I have played recently at launch. Now, obviously, on this beta as well, there were nerfs to particularly the Necromancer class.
I know people were bitching storms up about the Necromancer. And here's the thing, right? As a content creator, I don't make videos like this, right? So I'm not to say that I'm one of the people to blame, but people talk about how to make an OP necromancer, how to make this person, here's the best builds, here's the thing. And then when they get nerfed, people are like, "Oh, they ruined the necromancer, they ruined this." And you know, I mean, that's just the way it is, man. I mean, if you're playing an MMO and you're playing a game like this, if you're playing a looter and you're playing a game like Diablo or Lost Ark or any other game like this, you're going to have nerfs and buffs. So just suit up and get ready, because at some point during the game, if your character's great now, it won't be in the next season. If it's shitty now, it'll be better in the next season. That's just the way the game is. If you don't like that, then don't play games like Diablo, Destiny, Warframe, anything else that has characters, or Lost Ark, anything like that. Just don't do it to yourself, right?
In the Sorceress class, there were buffs to Druid, there were buffs to Barbarian, and I just want to say that like the nerfs were definitely felt on the Necromancer and Sorceress classes, but I didn't feel that much of a difference on the Druid and Barbarian.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. The Druid, I had much more harder time this time around than I did the last time around.
Again, these classes have missing class components to them that were not available in this beta, so I imagine...
And that's not me complaining. That's just me noticing the nerfs and stuff that they've done.
Once they get those, these classes are going to be a bit stronger, so it's not something I'm particularly worried about. But other than, you know, those nerfs, which were quite apparent, the classes didn't feel that different to me. And I'm not sure if that's good or bad. We'll just have to see how that plays out. Historically, in Diablo games, martial classes, characters that use weapons, are typically way more gear dependent than, you know, casting classes are. And I played a lot of melee druid in this beta and previous betas. I didn't do a lot of casting druid. So I feel like this is probably not crazy to expect that this is probably okay, but we'll just have to wait and see how this shakes out. I expect the balancing of this game, by the way, to occur after launch happens quite a bit. I don't think it's going to launch in a...
Here's the problem, right? Anything that was OP before the game, if they get all the characters pretty much balanced around the launch of the game and then tweak them afterwards, I think that's a better thing. You know what I mean? Jesse Mack says 30 at launch. Do you think they'll make a lot of problems with the waiting in the queue? I think it'll be like that in the 4 days. Which is, it kind of sucks because the people that pay early access want to play the game, and they're probably going to be the ones testing out the servers that are going to be, you know, crowded. But hopefully, because of the closed beta, open beta, and now server slam, we won't have as many issues. But I think they're going to have some issues on at least day one. Rogue is going to be nasty. Poison-based dagger rogue. The dagger rogue water is going to be good. You know what's funny? The rogue has always just sat in the middle since all the server tests that we've done and the beta tests and stuff, because everyone was talking about how OP the necromancer and the sorcerer were and how shitty the druid and barbarian was. And meanwhile, the rogue was just sitting there the entire time and no one really touched him. Right? No one touched him. So they just sat there, and they're actually really good. They're really good.
In a perfectly balanced state, and I think tweaks will continue to happen with this game long after release. Talking about the changes to the legendary drop rate, if you didn't know, the drop rate for legendaries changed from being a happy fountain of legendary loot to something close, if not exactly what the drop rate of legendaries is planned to be at the launch of the game. And this was almost non-existent for me. I heard from other players that they were getting lots of legendaries.
I think they said that the legendary loot was just a little bit above what it's going to be like in the game. I only got 2 pieces. I only got 2 pieces of gear. Again, this is me not complaining. I think it's a good balance considering I'm level 20 at the end of this beta, and we have to go all the way to 100. You know what I mean? So I was getting more drops, better gear at the 19-20 level, though.
Legendaries, and I heard from lots of other players they were getting none or 1. I got 1 up to level 20. So it took me about 4 hours, 3.5 hours to get my character to level 20, and I got 1 legendary item in that time. It was a good legendary item.
Yeah, I got 2.
Granted, so I was pretty happy with that. I don't think that's such a terrible rate, but I do have concerns about what that means for this game. My experience with the previous betas is that because of the way the level scaling works, you are really reliant on the loot that you get in order to make your character feel stronger. That is to say, if you level up 5 levels, but you don't get anything better for your character in those 5 levels, you're effectively weaker than you were 5 levels ago. So you're very dependent on the loot you get. Maybe the bonuses that you get on the gear that you're picking up aren't what you need. Maybe you want overpower damage or critical chance, and you're getting like damage over time, or you're getting damage to distant enemies on some of these gear, and it's not quite what you want. Or maybe you're finding a good one-handed weapon, but you can't get a good two-handed weapon. So this game feels very gear dependent and loot dependent to me, what I've seen so far. I don't know how that'll remain at endgame. And what could be potentially disastrous is the fact that you don't feel like you're getting a reward for all your hard work. I will say it does feel like a slog to go through some of these dungeons, and part of it could just be because I've done them so many times now, and I imagine that's a little bit of a factor. There's probably fatigue from that, so it's probably not as bad as I feel it is. But there is a bit of a slog in there from fighting these enemies. They just continuously level scale, and when you don't get gear that makes your character stronger... And
this is the thing I was talking about way before we even played the beta at all, over a month ago, right? I said I don't like the scaling. Okay, I don't like the scaling that they constantly scale with you the entire time. Okay, because they scale with you the entire time if you're not getting the drops that you get. Some people might get drops and feel fantastic. Other people might not get any drops, and they might feel absolutely trash, right? And that's going to be a problem. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right. I hit the wrong button for a short break, but it's all right. Let me see what you guys are saying. Windsor says, did you end up deciding, 30, what you were going to do, either getting it or just the first? No, we're getting it, Winzo, on the first, because we had Quintar, one of the members in chat. He gave me, he literally tipped me the money to get the game for the early access. So we're gonna get Diablo on the early access because that's was nice of Quintar to do. So haven't purchased it yet, but we're taking that money and we're gonna put it towards the Diablo, get the early access of it. If you start complaining about PvP, it's possible it could, but they already said that PvP isn't meant to be fair. Yeah, PvP is a completely different beast, and I'm probably not gonna. I'll dabble in it, but I'm not gonna go gung ho with it. Asmongold made a video trolling his Necro stream. I watched Asmongold trolling about the Necro. The Necro was really buff, or nerfed really bad. So much so that people made videos saying that the Necro's fine, the Necro's fine, the Necro's fine, and then the developers came out and said, yeah, we're looking into the Necro because the Necro's not fine. So it's like, who are you gonna believe, right? Asmongold knows his shit. I'm just sorry, right? I mean, he does. He knows his shit. I like watching Asma. Zach is funny, and he's very smart. Right? He's very knowledgeable when it comes to video games. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to MMOs, RPGs. He's very knowledgeable about all this. Doesn't mean anything. Horrible games keep going all the time. Look at Souls. Yeah, he's annoying at times, but I like him overall. I mean, he's exactly what he's supposed to be, boss, right? He's an entertainer on the internet talking about video games, right? I feel like he's exactly where he's supposed to be.
And you struggle more and more, or you don't get any faster clear speed, and you don't really get any reward that benefits you from doing it. I worry that players are just going to burn out, and people are saying to me like, well, as long as endgame's good, this game's fine.
He's 100% correct. I was worried about this before, like I said, we even knew about the scaling and stuff. I said two things that I was worried about in this game. I said one was the leveling, right? All the time. They're always the same level as you, right? And then the second one was respecting your time through the stuff, right? And I said people are going to just leave the game. Once they're done with the story, they'll probably just put the game down. Mass exodus will leave. And then you'll have the Diablo crowd, right? Which probably most of you are, right? So this doesn't apply to most of you that are in the channel. But the people that are the hardcore players that are going to the end game, they're going to love it. They're going to have no issues. But for the bigger, broad audience that's going to probably jump into this game, they're going to get kicked in the face, and they're not going to like that the scale of leveling, right? The reason scaling is not like this in most games is because of the mass exodus. If you have scaling constantly always happening and nothing to reach for, like in Destiny when it first came out, there was sections that you went into and they had skulls above their head, and you're like, I can't fight that guy, right? But now they're always your level. No matter where you go is your level. And if you don't get the right gear, lucky enough to get the right gear, or know that maybe you got something, but let's say it was white, but it has better damage on there, but then you take the blue because we're all trained to, well, blue's better than white, and you know, and purple's better. You know what I mean? Like, that scaling method is going to hurt a lot of people.
I frankly think that's BS. Diablo is a much more casual game than something like Path of Exile. A lot of people are playing Diablo for the story, a lot of people are playing Diablo for the immersion, and a lot of people will play through that and then stop, or play through it and get to the end and create a new character and play through it again.
Correct.
And create a new character and maybe do a little grinding at endgame. But I don't think there is nearly as many people that are just playing Diablo for the endgame as there are something like Path of Exile. So while I certainly don't want to see Diablo have fountains of legendary loot that make legendary...
Right, well, the answer is not giving legendary loot all the time. That's not the answer.
Feel unimportant. At the same time, I worry that if you get them so rarely, because this game is so loot dependent, and those ones that you do get don't benefit your build in any way, because that can happen very easily, that eventually you're just going to feel demotivated and demoralized doing this content and not feel like continuing playing, because you don't get that, you know, sense that you've gotten from previous Diablo games where you get powerful and you're farming earlier game errors and you're just throttling the...
Yeah, so what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. Basically how I played the beta this weekend, and I went to that event and just played the same event over and over, and I died a couple of times in that event, right? Because you get overwhelmed, and I love, and I'll talk about that in a second, how they change the event all the time. But most people are going to be underwhelmed, and it doesn't matter where you go to level up, because level is your level, but they're going to find the spot where they can get the best loot the fastest, right? And that's going to be the small events. Not going through a dungeon, because the dungeons take too long. But if you do the events, you're going to be able to get drops, and you're also going to get the what are those not boons? What are they called? The other specialty coins that you can go to the vendor. I forget what the names were. Didn't they start with an M? I forget what it was. What's going on, Fate? Wasn't it an M? No, is it Orbers? Something like that? I thought it started with an M. Anyway, regardless, whatever it is, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. Just getting the gear. No, Water. Getting the aspects and stuff from the dungeons, that's fine. But people are going to farm the gear. And the quickest events, right? The quickest events are the quickest way to do that is the events. I was getting gear after gear after gear, and I would go back and sell it, and then I would also get the special currency, and then go get the gear. And the way I got my 2 legendary, I didn't get a legendary drop in the world. I got my 2 legendary drops from the vendor. Okay. Now during the other beta, it was like a 4-to-1 ratio. This one was like a 10-to-1 ratio. So I would have to get it, you know, spend all 400 or 500, and I didn't get one. And then I got more, and then I went back, and then I got one. That's what's going to happen. That's the way people are going to try to level up. And then once they get a couple pieces of gear and some runes inside there, then they'll start going into the dungeons and whatnot.
Enemies, and that feels good. RPGs have a curve to them, most of them, where it's hard, and it gets easier and easier and easier, and then you just start throttling your way through the game a lot of the time, historically anyway. And players like to feel that struggle, but then feel powerful. And if you don't feel powerful ever, and it's always struggle, I worry that players will just burn out on this game.
That's exactly what people will just come in, play through. They'll play on the lowest difficulty, right? This is the majority, right? This is not talking about a lot of you guys that are in chat, but the majority of the people that are not players that usually play games like this are going to put on the lowest tier, and they're just going to play on the easiest difficulty, and they'll probably over-level themselves, and you can't over-level when everyone's leveled with you, but when I say over-level, they'll just grind events, get the legendary gear, and then it'll be much easier for them as they go through.
Again, we'll have to see how this all shakes out because, you know, this is just a small glimpse into the game and it's not a completely accurate picture, and players aren't just going to stay in the same area. They're going to continue to progress through the game. So we'll see if there's like maybe a level cap to certain areas of the game, and that maybe once you get like, I don't know, higher than 30, maybe those dungeons stop scaling and you can come back and do that. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. And also keep in mind that there are lower tiers than tier 2. You can play on tier 1. So you can make the game easier if you want to.
Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the thought process? That's it. That's the way people are going to do it. They're going to try it on tier 1. They're like, I'm not leveling up fast enough. They'll go to tier 2. They'll get their teeth kicked in. And then they'll go back to tier 1, and that's where they'll sit, and they can't do anything, and then they'll just leave.
To have a higher clear speed, but I don't think that means you're going to get better loot easier. Although it may be better to farm on tier 1 instead of tier 2, for instance, if your clear speed is 5 times faster than it is on tier 2, because it is markedly easier on tier 1.
Super easy on tier 1. I played tier 2 this weekend, and like I said, the stronghold and stuff with my druid, it was pretty rough.
So we'll just have to see how that is. And another thing I wanted to mention too is that we couldn't beat a Shava this time around. We didn't even get close. I don't even think we got halfway. It was obvious we were not going to make it from.
Well, I could tell you why you didn't get more than halfway.
2 minutes into the fight.
First of all, I can see people on your server. One's a level 15. This one's an 18.
Which is weird.
What do you guys think about this, right? What do you guys think about this? I don't think you should get to a world boss if you're lower. They should cap the world boss off at a level. Because I remember the last time I played and got to the boss, the world boss, there was 2 times we did it. One time we didn't get close, and when we had people there was like 4 or 5 people out of the 12 that were like level 15, 16, and they weren't doing enough damage, right? And then the second time we were there, we had, I think, 1 person that was under level 20, and we destroyed it, right? It was like leaps and bounds ahead.
Weird because we cleared it, you know, every time before in the previous betas without difficulty. Well, a couple of times we're close, but we completed every time before. So, but I think that came down to a few factors. First, the level cap being 20 instead of 25, that definitely played a role. Having less legendary drops, people were not nearly as geared out as they were before. And lastly, there were just far less people playing. We had like 8 or 9 people in our group playing, and I think half of them weren't even level 20 compared to the, you know, 20 or so level 25s we had, or, you know, close to 25 level.
Right. They didn't get that much because, look, 1, the boss is level 25. 2, there's only 5 of them that I can see on the screen.
So I think, you know,
and
people are off playing Tears of the Kingdom this weekend, or, you know, they're just...
3 are under 20. That guy's a level 14.
They're not interested in getting burnt out.
You got a 14, a 15, and 18. There's no way you're beating this thing.
Out on the game before they play in a couple weeks. So, in my opinion, it wasn't a very accurate depiction for a server slam. I don't think their servers were really stress tested that much, except for maybe the first couple hours. So, it'll be interesting to see how these world bosses play out in the grand scheme of things, and whether the first interpretation we had is a better interpretation, or the second interpretation is a better interpretation of how difficult these world bosses will actually be. And just to kind of reiterate that as well, I did hear from other people that they were able to clear Tier 2 with their group, but I did hear from a lot of people they didn't come close. And I did hear from a lot of people who did it on Tier 1 that they didn't come close as well.
No, I saw people on Tier 1 literally nuke it if you had the people at the level that you're supposed to be.
I think you have to have a very coordinated group for these world bosses, which may make it very difficult for, you know, like pug groups or just random groups on the landscape, particularly if they're not geared very well. I could see these world bosses being very difficult, like the first...
Well, of course they're going to be difficult if you're not leveled.
...week or 2 of the game before people...
You can't be 10 levels really below. 11 levels below. You can't be 10 and 11 levels below the boss and think you're going to beat it.
...on what they need to do in order to complete them. Overall, I enjoyed my time with Diablo 4, but I will say that I am concerned because of the player scaling. that people are not going to stick it out and make it to endgame, hopefully for some great endgame payoff, if there is a great endgame. I have no data about endgame. I worry that they'll even make it there. Again, I don't think Diablo is as hardcore of a action RPG as some other titles, and I don't think as many people playing Diablo are in it for the endgame. They're in it for the experience, they're in it for that playthrough. They might take their character to endgame and play for a couple weeks, but they're not going to be playing, you know, the vast majority of players are not going to be playing this game 2 months, 3 months, 4 months after release.
I don't think I'm going to be playing 3-4 months after release. I don't like, I like playing my main character, right? I played Diablo, I played Destiny, I played Division, right? I don't like making a new character every season. That to me is a turnoff, right? That to me is a turnoff. I have my same character in Division that I've had for 4 years that I level up and change my build and do all the stuff. I don't want to make a new character every time I play Division for a new season. I just want to take my character and go through the season. That's a turnoff for me. So I'll probably play the first season, and after that, if it doesn't hook me, I'll probably move on. So I'll play the main story. I'll play the main campaign. I'll probably get my character up to 100, but getting to season 1 and then starting back at 1 again, I just want to go through the season. Like, I just want to go through the season pass with my main character. I don't, and especially since they're scaled with me the entire time, right? Why do I want to start back over and then do the whole thing over again? That's a big turnoff for me. But as far as the normal people going through the game, the masses going through the game, you're going to have a big fall off after like 1 week. Big fall off, because it's just, they're going to get kicked in the face. You're going to have the Diablo fans and stuff that are used to this stuff, and they're going to continue, and they're going to love it because it's what they love. But everybody else that's trying to get in on it, they're going to hate it and leave in the masses. The guys who can play 16-hour days, yeah, they're going to love it. They're going to love it. Most people will skip some seasons, come back later. That's me. I can tell you right now, boss, that I'll play the main game. We might play up to the first season. We might be bored by the time the first season comes out, and then when the first seasons come out, I'll jump back in just to see. But I'll tell you what, man, if I have to do 1 to 100 again all the time, no. I just want my character and make him powerful. That's what I want.
You know, there are the people that will play the seasons as it gets updated, etc. But I don't think that's the majority of players. I think you're looking about 20 to 25% of players that'll do that, compared to something like PoE where maybe it's like 50% or better.
No, I say 10 to 15% of the player base will do what he's saying. Like, continue playing.
Those things being said, I'd be curious to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this game so far? Are you concerned about the level scaling?
Which 10 to 15%, if 10 million people get it, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of people still playing the game.
You feel like you weren't getting more powerful too? What do you think of the nerfed legendary drops? Are you happy that legendaries got nerfed because you want them to feel special?
I didn't get a legendary in the world. I got a legendary, 2 legendaries by purchasing them.
Or are you a little upset like I am, because even though you want them to feel special, it felt like it made the game more fun in general just because of the way the game's designed? Let me know in the comments below.
All right. Yeah, I enjoy the game. I had a lot of fun playing Diablo again this weekend. I leveled up in 3.5 hours to level 20, right? All I did was do this one event. I don't even know what the event was. Let me talk about the event, though, right? What I liked about what Diablo's doing and what Blizzard's doing with the events is I thought this was interesting. So I did the same event over and over and over and over. And there was about, I would say, about 6 to 8 different variations of this event. And I thought that was pretty cool, right? There was 6 to 8 different variations of the same event that it was like in a random rotation or whatever it was. And there was different things that happened, different bosses you had to fight at the end. And I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Builds people want the need of legendaries. They should be a way to purchase aspects so you can create items like legendary drop rate. Going to be poop. Yeah, Bait. It was rough. Like during the other beta, they were just handing them out to you like pamphlets at a conference for legendaries. This time, I didn't get one drop in Legendary, but then again, I only played for like 4 hours, right? But I got 2 Legendary drops in my 3.5 hours of playing, but I purchased them by doing the how do you pronounce it? Orbles? Orbles? Orbos? All right, Travis, have a good one. Pay to win purchase? Are you asking if it was a pay to win purchase? No, I mean, is it a pay to win? I'm still playing the game as is, and then using the currency in the game to go to the vendor. I don't really like that loop, though, right? A part of me looks at that loop and says, all right, well, one of it's pretty good because you're respecting my time. I'm not getting a legendary drop, but I can get this currency. But then if I go turn them in and I don't get a drop, then you're not respecting my time. What's going on, Lurker? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just think there's a weird balance. The early game, my problem is that if you're an unlucky person, and this happens all the time, right? I got my, and I'm going to bring up Destiny for a second. I got my Galahorn really early on. I got my Icebreaker really early on. Some people never saw the Galahorn in a year. Okay? So there's going to be some people that play Diablo, and they're going to get a legendary drop, and it's going to make their, or just a piece of gear that's going to make their gear better, make their build better, and they'll have an easier time, right? 2 druids go together, and then one druid gets the gear he needs, and one druid doesn't. The one that doesn't get his gear is going to be like, this game sucks, man. I'm struggling to try to get in these dungeons and stuff. And the other one's like, I don't know what the problem is. I'm having a grand old time. Because they are getting the gear they need where the other one isn't. So you can look at that and go, well, you could just go purchase it. But if you go purchase it, it's also a random drop, right? So one person's experience can be completely different than the other. So there's this like balance, right? This is why I like Division. Division, you're like, I need this weapon. Where do I get this weapon? You go to the map, you look at where the ARs are, you look where the pistols are, you look where the shotguns are, and you can run that over and over and over in that area and get shotgun drops. At the time that you're done with the one mission or the 1 hour or the 2 hour session, you're going to have something out of that to put on your build to make you feel better, to feel like you're respecting your player's time. This is not doing that. This is not doing that right now. Jesse says 30 in D4, very funny to me because I have 2 battle pass systems at first, and I thought this game was a BR Diablo game. Yeah, so it's going to be a weird system. I don't agree with the scaling all the time, and I don't agree with the way the loot is dropping and how to get the loot, right? 2 different, like, Theory could have the best build. We're both the same character, whatever it is. He's getting drops, I'm not. I'm struggling. Like, I don't know, man. I'm loving it, right? We're both playing on the same tier. We're both playing the same character. We're both doing the same type of events. He's getting good drops, I'm not. One person's experience is going to suck. One person's experience is going to be awesome. What's going on, Dustin? All right, let's bring up the next video. Next video, let's do a shorter one. Let's go with this one. Need bad luck insurance. They need something. Then my experience now with the end game, which I still don't know, but we talked about it a couple weeks ago, is that end game with the cards. If you can only pick one card for, like, let's say, you know, I forget what it is, like a brute or something, right? If I only pick one of those, then what's the point if I only can pick one of each of the cards? If I want to keep going with that same card and then make my guy more powerful, but doesn't really matter because you're changing characters anyway every season. So, all right, the next one is by Force Gaming. And all the videos that we're watching today, guys, in the description down below, you can click on their name, you can click on the video. Go give them a like, go give them a watch, because we're watching their videos. They made the videos. They're working hard, doing what they're doing on YouTube. Force Gaming, I like him. He does a lot of good videos. He's doing Warframe. I was talking to Brain the other day about Warframe. He's like, I'm ready for you to come back in and I'll take you through Warframe. So I want to know what he's talking about. I haven't watched this yet. So let's check out Force Gaming as he talks about
Once again,
Warframe.
where I jump back in and revisit Warframe. Like with a handful of other MMOs and live service games, I try to return and check these out to see the most recent updates, at least around once a year. And well, Warframe just got a pretty large update. The Duviri Paradox, which released back on April 26, introduced an entirely new way to play this game. Basically, at its core, they've added an open world roguelike system to Warframe. So you play as the Drifter, you make your way through what are called the lands of Duviri on foot, by horseback, or as one of the game's many available frames. So this update introduces a 2 to 3 hour story campaign, after which you unlock 3 separate brand new
2 to 3 hour campaign just for this DLC that came out.
game modes that offer.
And just to let you know, this is all free to play. Warframe is not you don't have to pay for anything for Warframe. You can just go try this out and play a DLC for 2-3 hours.
A bunch of repeatable content that keeps itself fresh thanks to the randomness of this new roguelike mechanic. Basically, it's this thing of a system called decrees.
Decrees. This is just basically like the card system you had on your thing. Oh, headshot 30% chance of enemies near the target will be infected with 30% toxin. If we're taking damage, roll immediately and recover 25% of damage taken. Free to heal. Kill enemies restores 10% health, and every decree collected increased movement speed by 10%.
These provide a significant boost to your character's damage, defenses, and movement. And then as you continue to farm decrees, you just get stronger and stronger, letting you push further and take on new challenges. They've also updated the combat as well, adding some more depth and making playing as the Drifter feel a lot more like a traditional action combat game with things like blocks, parries, special attacks, and even counters. And just all around, this is basically like a real interesting new twist on Warframe. Now, this video is sponsored by Digital Extremes. They reached out to me and asked me to basically just get some hands-on time and share with you and show you what the Duviri
What a shill taking it out. No, that's all right. Hey.
Paradox is all about. So I played for several hours now. I've got a pretty good grasp on things, and I'm going to introduce you to the various new systems and mechanics that come in the Duviri Paradox. I mean, this is a real easy, kind of a no-brainer, one of those sponsorships for me, because I like Warframe. Like I said, I come back about once a year. I like checking out the new updates, and even more so, it's like totally free. Brand new, ton of new stuff that's totally available for free. Anyone can jump in, even if it's your first time with Warframe, for a total of $0. So anyway, let's jump in and check out and learn more about the Duviri Paradox. So whether you are a returning seasoned player or playing for the very first time, the update begins with you playing through that brand new story campaign. Like I mentioned, this is going to take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, really depending on how much exploration and side content you decide to do along the way. Besides the story, which does include a lot of narration as you play through, as well as some cutscenes here and there, the campaign also acts as kind of like a lengthy tutorial for all of these newly added mechanics, systems, and features. So you start off by running through a combat simulation. This is where you learn.
Oh, thank God. I was looking at this NPC for a second. I was like, this AI looks terrible. But it's a training simulator.
The Drifter's various combat moves, including some of the new stuff he's got. So there's the basics, like there's light and heavy attacks, there's blocking and dodging, there's also a target lock feature, letting you focus on an enemy. Then you've also got things like the quick shot, where you can fire your pistol even if you're equipped with the melee weapon, and this shot can be used to counter special enemy attacks or charged attacks. There's the power strike, which is not the same as a heavy attack. It's like a stronger...
I kind of like the way they're doing this melee combat and stuff, which is completely different than the rest of Warframe.
Special attack varies depending on the weapon that you're using. So the base Drifter weapon that you start off with in this update is called Sun and Moon, and its power attack is like this ranged slash that deals heavy damage and also passes through enemies, kind of acts as like a projectile attack. And then you've also got now a parry, so you can, like most parries, you can time your block. If you do it right before an enemy attack lands, prevents that attack from dealing damage, but it also opens them up for a finisher. And this parry, this can also be used to reflect ranged attacks back at enemies. You're also introduced to this mount called Kaith. It is a flying steed. You will use this for traversing what is a fairly large open world, and it's actually made up of like these floating islands. So you can go on ground, you can fly in the air, and basically go wherever you want almost immediately after.
All right. Let's do it then.
Starting the update, you unlock this pretty early
Look at
on.
this.
So
you got a horse that flies? Sweet.
With some basic story stuff, and then it moves you through, introducing you to the various open world objectives, as well as the decree system. So all throughout the open world in Duviri, there is a large variety of objective types that you can engage with outside of what you like your main objective, the main quest line that you have. And these consist of a range of different...
Yeah, it's a melee combat water. I forget what the name of it is.
Combat and non-combat activities. So there's a bunch of different mini games, like trying to guide a mirror image of yourself to these beams.
It's still something frame, isn't it? It's not Warframe, it's something else frame, isn't it?
Light, where there's one where you control this eel-like creature and you move them through water, feeding them fish before a timer runs out. There's ones where you can play songs on musical instruments. There are races as you pass through these markers on your mount. There's even ones where you try to herd wildlife into a pen. Some combat encounters, pretty basic stuff like eliminate a group of enemies to rescue prisoners, or assemble this shrine, which requires you to kill a bunch of enemies and then collect the things that they drop. And then there'll be ones that are just like, hey, fight this really tough enemy. There's also a variety of different puzzles to solve.
There you go, Soul Frame. Come on, brain.
So there are ones where you have to like open up these chests by timing clicks on this rotating spinning
water
orb,
cell
or
too.
reconnect power lines by attacking these floating artifacts and then trying to find the next one in the chain and progress it all the way down to power up a particular structure. Above ground, it's pretty simple because you can see all the connections, but there are even some below ground in caves, and it requires a little bit more.
Okay, so here's my question, right? Do I have to play up to this story to understand what the hell's going on here, or is this a standalone story but also connects to the other past stories?
Or navigation and searching around for the next marker in the chain. And each and every one of these side objectives will reward you with some useful resources, but even more so,
because it doesn't look like you're using your Warframe at all.
they let you pick from an assortment of decrees, and these decrees are basically like the roguelike, the first bit of the roguelike nature of Duviri. So basically, these are upgrades that will make both the Drifter and the Warframe more powerful. They'll enhance you with an array of different powers that will last for the entirety of your current run. So when you're playing through the campaign, there's reset points, but they'll last for a big duration of time. And then when you're playing through those additional modes, which we'll get to in a minute, they will last for the entire run of whatever mode that you're in. So there's actually somewhere around 40 different decrees in total. I'm not going to read all of them off to you, but here's some of my favorites and the ones that I tended to pick most often. So there's like the Smoldering Strike, which will make it so that melee attacks become imbued with fire, dealing a percentage increase.
Melee attacks imbuing the fire, dealing 70% heat damage, 20% status chance. Toxic Approach. During combat, leave behind the toxic cloud every 10 seconds for 5 seconds. Enemies within the cloud suffer 25 impact, 25 toxins per second. Bastion. Headshot, 30% chance of enemies near the target will also inflict a 30% toxin.
Increase in heat damage. Or there's Majestic Strike, which makes it so that every melee attack hits 2 times. There's Greedy Heal, which makes it so that you restore health when you kill enemies. Dueler's Outburst makes it so that on critical hits, you'll gain a melee increased attack speed. Ranger's Reload will have you reload your weapon anytime you roll, which is great. You can just constantly roll and shoot, roll and shoot. And then finally, to top it all off, one of my favorite to pick up was Fleet-Footed, which made it so that for every single decree you collected, it would increase your movement speed by 10%. This ended up getting ridiculous as I continue to play, especially on runs that were longer, and I would get more and more decrees. I would keep farming up decrees, and eventually my run speed was like way faster than my mount speed.
That's
kind
crazy.
of hilarious. So many of these decrees will also have multiple tiers, so you can stack them, making them increasingly stronger. And then there will also be like rare versions of the decrees, which grant even larger buffs than the regular versions. And just like a lot of roguelike games or games that have roguelike systems in it, you just go around, you do things to unlock these, and then you try to, based on the hand that you're dealt, essentially try to make a build or tailor your playstyle to whatever particular weapons and melee weapons and range weapons and Warframe that you happen to be using. And speaking of the Warframe, the Drifter playstyle isn't the only thing that you're doing here. You do actually pick a frame early on in the story that will carry throughout with you, but then there's also a random assortment of
So the Drifter is a completely different character then. The standalone.
frames to pick from those various modes. That actually comes into play when it comes.
You need to play the other stories first. So before I can even play this, brain, I have to play other stories to get to this point. So we're talking I'm a good 30 hours off of this. So if I wanted to play this today, I couldn't. Is that what you're telling me?
To this system known as the Undercroft. So as you're going through, you're doing the narrative, you're doing some of the side quests. Occasionally, some of those main and or side quests will take you to a location known as the Undercroft. And this is where you just basically automatically swap from playing as the Drifter to playing as your selected Warframe for that run. And it basically just throws you back into the traditional Warframe playstyle. You are playing as a Warframe and you're doing those core Warframe objectives, some of which have been in the game for like the past 10 years or so. This includes things like Exterminate, where you've got to kill a certain number of enemies, Defense, where you have to defend against 5 waves of attacks, Survival, where you have to survive for 5 minutes, and then there's also things like Excavation, where you got to excavate these crystals from the ground, or Void Flood, where you have to seal these things known as ruptures by bringing in an artifact that you charge to them, which then fuels them, fills them up, and you do that 5 times, and that's the end of the mission. And just like side objectives, going into these Undercroft missions will also reward you with resources, as well as yet another decree upgrade to pick, powering you up for your run. So you'll go through 2 to 3 hours, you'll get the narrative, you'll learn all of these systems, and eventually you will finish the campaign. Not going to spoil the story for you here. I'll let you see it.
All right, so 2 to 3
yourself.
hours.
But
campaign.
at that point, you're basically kicked back into the time loop, which then opens up 3 new game modes. These are the Duviri Experience, the Circuit, and the Lone Story. And this is basically a bulk of what this update is going to provide for replayability in the long haul. So starting off with the Duviri Experience, this is basically the core of the game. It includes all of the new systems and features.
Yeah, the player base is still pretty good, Kylo.
It's got that open landscape for you to explore. It's got the story woven into it. All of the side activities available in the open world, all of the exploration. Speaking of which,
I mean, I can't imagine they would update this game every single year with some major update if there was nobody playing it.
open world landscape. There's a lot of little things to discover, a lot of little nooks and crannies, hidden puzzles, even hidden resources that you can use to fuel yourself up for the long-term progression, like the long-term roguelike progression system that carries with you between runs. There's actually quite a lot here to be discovered.
Seeing all these things, though, is really getting me excited for Transformers game. Because Transformers game is going to be like Warframe.
It's a rather dense landscape with a lot of things basically everywhere you look. So this is, yeah, the Deviri experience, the center mode is like the core. Then there's also the circuit, and this is focused just on Warframe combat. The Drifter is not involved here. Keep in mind, the Warframes each have their own playstyle. They act as basically classes, and the Drifter is its entirely different thing. It's kind of, again, more akin to a slower paced action combat game. So going into the circuit, though, this revolves around playing as a selected Warframe and going on these endless gameplay objective loops that will rotate different.
So this is the same as far as the different game modes inside.
Weekly rewards that you farm for. So basically, you pick a difficulty, you pick a reward track, which will be just one of 3 randomly selected frames for that week, and then you fill up the track, claiming rewards along the way. And essentially, this is just a great way to unlock brand new Warframes to play in your account. And then the final, the third mode, is called the Lone Story, and this is basically the Deviri experience, but just the story missions and none of the side objectives. I don't really see the point in doing this. The 2 main ones that I've been playing the most were the Deviri experience and the circuit. But whichever one of
I see a point. I mean, if you just want to, if there's someone that just wants to do the story and then put it down, that's what they would do.
These 3 different modes that you want to pick once you unlock the campaign.
You don't want to do any side quests or anything like that. You just want to stay focused on the main story.
All of them start off in the same place. You go to this cave, which has you picking from a random assortment of tools, essentially. So this is where you start off. You select from a random assortment of Warframes. You'll start with 3 available to you, and then through unlocking some of the longer term progression, you can eventually get more. You go up to one of the 3 frames that you see to start, and then you select from the different mods that they have available, and you basically just pick the frame that you want to use for that run. You then also have to go pick your weapons, the primary, melee, and secondary weapons. And then there's also the long-term progression of what are called the Drifter Intrinsics. These essentially provide you with additional buffs that will enhance various aspects of the combat, of your defenses or endurance, of your riding capabilities. And then the final one called Opportunity is basically the system that allows you to power up and get more powerful and more options when it comes to the decree system. There's also some spots for customization here. You can customize the appearance of your Drifter and Warframe in this mirror, and then your mount is also in the cave, and you can go up to the mount and customize the appearance, the cosmetics, the skins, the colors, all of that. So again, remember, all of this is revolved around like the structure of a roguelike. So if you start off with the Deviri experience, that gameplay mode, very first thing you do is you go into the cave, you pick which of the random assortment of Warframes you want, you pick from the random assortment of weapons, primary, secondary, and melee, and then if you have the resources, you go into the intrinsics and you try to power those up. The intrinsic resource you will just get while you're playing all of this stuff, and as you continue to accumulate it, you can then specialize your long-term account progression for the Deviri paradox and those various modes. So the Deviri experience, like I said,
seems pretty cool. Here's the thing, right, Brain? If I can jump into just this new stuff and play this, cool. But if I have to do all my homework and play all the other stuff to get up to it, just to try this, that's gonna suck. That's gonna suck.
This is actually the kind of the core. It includes all of everything that the Deviri brings to the table, all of the new stuff. After you go into the cave and you pick from your assortment of stuff, you are then dropped into the open world and you are just asked to complete a string of 6 main objectives. And you can do this at whatever pace you want. You can go straight from one to the other, make your way all the way to the end, or you can spend a bunch of time exploring the open world and doing side tasks. And the main reason you want to do that is to farm decrees, making yourself ever...
I still haven't played the other 2 open worlds. I think the last time I tried Warframe is when the first open world came in. I never tried the second open world yet.
More powerful, but you can also farm resources and farm currencies and farm a whole lot of other stuff that you just want to use in Warframe in general. It's really totally up to you. And basically, I found that while I was playing through this, sometimes I would beeline, I would go through the 6 core objectives, moving from one to the next. Sometimes I would do a ton of side objectives and really try to power myself up by stacking.
Wait a minute, this is the 4th? Oh, for God's sakes.
A ton of different decrees, and sometimes I would explore and I'd go around and I'd find various currencies, I'd farm resources, I'd fight all the little enemies scattered around, bosses. There's also NPCs all around the world, and you can chat with them, get some of the backstory and lore behind the Deviri paradox. It's just a rather interesting space to explore, and there's again quite a bit of variety all within this one system. And then at some point, whenever you decide that you're done exploring, you're done stacking decrees, you're done doing side objectives, collecting resources, at some point you will finish the 6th, the final objective, at which point you are then asked to summon in this massive
giant snake in the flying snake?
Flying worm, and this plays in...
Oh, I'm sorry. Flying worm.
To the final conclusion of a run. You'll fly to the worm on your flying mount, dodging projectiles. You can even shoot these, and they create these pockets where if you pass through them, you get a massive speed boost that'll let you catch up to the worm. And then once you get close,
this kind of reminds me of Sonic Frontiers.
you're able to just do a basic attack because you have a new weapon, and this lets you mount onto the side of the worm, and then you've got to jump and reattach, trying to dodge some damage rings here and there. You go all the way to the front of the worm, you climb on top, and then you take control, you shoot the stuff out of the sky, you steer them into a massive portal, and then you have like what's a boss fight. Pretty straightforward. The worm just moves around. There's a bunch of AoE. You just have to shoot these target weak point markers on the worm, and then in 3 stages, you'll summon in some minions that you also have to deal with. But the fight's pretty straightforward, but it just acts as like a culmination to a run through the Deviri experience. And then once you finish the boss, you go back into the time loop and you start all over. And this is really the rogue system. You do another run, you're back in the cave, you pick from your random assortment of warframes and weapons, you power up some of that long-term progression if you have more resource, you jump back in, boom. Now you go through 6 new random objectives and do side stuff if you want, summon the worm, defeat the worm, get kicked back out, go back into the cave again and again and again and again. Now when it comes to the circuit, I have done this a little bit.
All right, Apex. You play as kids called Tennos. I know what Warframe is, Apex. I've played the game.
But definitely the Devir experience is what I spent the most time with. The circuit is just you playing as base Warframe, basically. You still go through the cave and you still pick from the random assortment of frames and weapons, but then you're just constantly playing as the Warframe the whole time, and you're doing those basic Warframe objectives, moving from one to the next. Again, those are like the defend, the exterminate, the survival, the excavation, and the void flood, and you're just continuously moving through those, basically, and you can keep pushing further and further for more and more rewards. It seems like for people who are more into the core Warframe experience, this is going to be a really great way to unlock a whole bunch of new frames potentially.
Yeah, so basically this is what I'm
and the lone
used to.
story, again, that's just the story stuff. I didn't really focus on it. Now there is one additional layer to this, and that is the layer of what are called spirals. These are what they consider lore-wise like the different moods of Duviri. So they're divided into these 5 moods of joy, anger, envy, sorrow, and fear. These will rotate every 2 hours. Whatever one that you happen to be in at the moment, it just brings its own changes to the world when you're playing through the Duviri experience. It basically just determines what the narrative is going to be, what the tone of the open world is going to be, but it also imbues the enemies within that world with a new suite of unique attacks depending on what 5 of the ones that it's currently on, as well as a specific elemental damage type.
That's cool. So they kind of rotate
for each of those 5 modes. So again, it's just yet another layer onto this roguelike experience to help keep things fresh by constantly rotating through these 5 different styles. All in all, it really is interesting. This update brings, again, another brand new way to play Warframe, essentially. I actually do really quite enjoy that base mode of Devir experience, and I found that playing as the Drifter is a nice change of pace for the base game. It kind of...
No, I haven't played the new thing that just came out. That's why we're looking at this, Apex. But I did play the first expansion that came out with the open world. I do know that your children inside the stuff. I do follow Warframe. I just haven't played, which I thought was the 3rd open world, which is now the 4th open world.
Slows things down a little bit compared to when you're playing as a Warframe. That added layer of roguelike mechanics with the decree system, with the open world and all of those side objectives and the exploration that comes with it. Just another layer added onto Warframe. This game has gotten so many updates over the years. I've been playing Warframe on and off since it was it was like alpha or beta back in like 2012. Like I've been revisiting this game for a long time.
My very first stream was literally Warframe.
For many, many years, and it's always crazy to me how much things change year after
like
year,
2013,
especially when we get rather
2014.
substantial updates like what we're seeing here with the Deviri Paradox. So again, if you're interested in learning more and checking out the Deviri Paradox for yourself, go ahead and use my link below. Once more, this is a completely free update. You don't have to pay for anything, and Warframe itself is free. So even if you've never touched this game and you like what you've seen here, you're interested in checking it out, you can do so at zero cost. Use my link below, but also if you use the promo code that's down.
All right, go check out Forest Gaming. He's got his name down below in the description. All right, next one. Yeah, the problem with Warframe is I just feel so overwhelmed every time I try to jump back in.
To execute this.
Yeah, every time I try to go back into Warframe, it's almost exactly like the original Warframe, right? The original Warframe was like, there was no gradual, like, learn this. It was like, wall, then climb straight up the wall. It was a very, very hard game to learn when it first came out. Then they made it better as the progress went through. I played it pretty on and off for up until about 2000, I would say about 18, 19. Up until, what was it, GCX? Was that 2019? And then they showed their open world one. We tried that. We played a little bit. But I just kind of lost interest because I was playing Division. Division. I was playing Destiny, right? Destiny's the one that won me over. So I would dabble in Warframe and play full-time into Destiny. But I loved Warframe. Warframe was fantastic. Then they completely changed the landscape. Now they have, like, giant ships, and you have crews. You got open world stuff. It's a completely different world than it was when I played it in the very beginning. That's how I felt and stopped right away. That's the problem, Jared. If you're in from Warframe from the very beginning, you kind of like it, right? But if you have to go back in, it's just super overwhelming. It's sort of like No Man's Sky. If you stop playing No Man's Sky and then start playing again, you're super overwhelmed because there's just so much. You're like, what was I doing before? What do I need? What resources do I need? And you're just like, it's just easier if I start over. The story unlocking the Drifter is actually really good too. Well, Brain, you know that's the reason I played the game, is like all the story missions and stuff. All right, the next thing up is from Jack Frags. He's playing a game called Caliber, which is a free-to-play game. It kind of looks like and reminds of SOCOM. And I think that's why he actually puts it in his title. The title says Caliber Gameplay Impressions, but he says, is it SOCOM? So let's check this out.
Play this game Caliber in the comments. So you know what? I'm going to do what you tell me for once. Some of you said that it's kind of like SOCOM. I like that game. This is a free-to-play title on Steam. Third person, as you can see. I don't know much about it, to be honest. So we're just going to jump in and play around here and see how it goes.
This is PC. It's on Steam.
I think this game mode is kind of like Gears of War, where you have to either kill the entire enemy team or capture an objective at some point. Maybe I should stick with my team. I'm playing as this guy called Volk. But I don't actually know if he's any good or not.
It does remind me of
Let's
SOCOM.
see if we can push forward. I've got a pistol. Oh, there's a guy there. Some kind of grenade. This thing?
Grenade? Oh, it's a
That's a full-on grenade launcher.
Yeah,
Jump down. Oh, that's my first kill. So I've got to execute this guy. V. Yeah, ruined. So I think he could have been revived. What is that? That guy's got a little ball following him around. So when I right-click, it actually ADSs. I've got an armor plate. And a syringe, is that? We'll get some health back. Let's kill number 2. That was a guy down there. Okay, try and get the execution. Can my teammate do it? Oh yeah, my teammate's got it for me. Oh, behind! Wow! Where did he come from? That wasn't the sniper, was it?
All of you out.
Did he kill my mate as well?
Neutral position detected.
Neutral position detected. Wait. Oh no! Don't you dare! Oh, that's the objective, I think. No! No!
Neutral position can now be captured.
Round 1 ended. Your team has been destroyed.
Oh, so
That's a bit harsh.
It's a one.
We were just destroyed.
It's a one-life thing. If you don't get revived, then you're done.
Okay, second round. I think it's first to 3.
Come on, Sarge.
Why am I missing ammo as well? Hang on. Can I see at the bottom? Look, I've only got half a mag in the end there. And do a little redeploy. I need to get a sight, because that is awful. That iron sight is terrible.
Like SOCOM.
I've got some kind of special ability too on Q. Oh, wow. I took damage then? I mean, it's full corner peak deluxe, isn't it, really?
Yeah, no, it doesn't look horrible.
I'm not in cover there, am I?
I'm assuming because it's a free-to-play game, there's a lot of microtransactions
and I've got
and
to syringe
stuff
myself.
as far as, like, storefront.
Oh, well, that just gives me stamina back. I see. I wonder if I can change the camera. Get a little flank on here. Look, that guy's sniping. He's not paying attention. Okay, there's a kill. I don't know what this drone is. I hope it's just a recon drone. Ow. It just blew me up, basically.
Push.
Oh, no. Was that the last one? Oh, maybe I could have shot that drone. I do love playing games for the first time. There's no other feeling like it. It just gives you a special sensation. Like you're learning everything. Obviously, we've been hammered right now.
Is there destructible? Is
Underground
there
bunker there. Okay,
destructible
ammo again.
environment?
Look.
I saw
We
that
only had
building up there
two
with
full
a hole in
magazines
it.
then. Everything's back now. Good. I'm not sure about this thing where it just spots people automatically as soon as they're on your screen. That guy comes this way though. I didn't have a chance, did he? Right, can I just shoot him? No, okay, so to finish him off, you got to do the full execution like this. I'm sure there were
That's
modes in
interesting.
Gears of War though where you could just shoot them, but there was also a mode where I think you had to do the execution like that. The other enemies are up there. Keep pushing. What's this ability that I've got here on Q?
This is called Caliber, Sarge.
I've got no idea
It's
what
like
that
a
did.
SOCOM
It looks
type
like a
of game.
crosshair, so maybe something to do with the way that I shoot. Oh, we've got a little
It's a
flank here by the
free-to-play
looks of it.
game.
One down. Oh, we got him. Nice. Good job. I think I contributed in some delineation there. Wait. Look at this. This guy's got full tartan. Oh my god. Representing Scotland.
Chance to win.
We have a chance to win. See, you could fuel up and get ammo straight away, but you could also do this and get more of a advantageous forward position, right? But I only use my grenade launcher once. It doesn't really appear to resupply it. I'll go down here.
We're watching Jack Frag play Caliber here.
How would I switch camera angles?
Make sure you guys, if you want,
isn't
go
a
to
great
his
position.
video,
Oh, my
hit
team
the
are coming.
like button.
All right. I'll be the first
Links
guy,
are
then
in
I'll
the
be the
description
scout.
down below.
Where's the danger at? Where is it?
I like watching Jack Frag for.
On the
He
left.
plays a lot of Battlefield and.
I really need
whatnot.
a red dot sight or something. All right, there's two enemies down there. Wait, can I revive this guy?
Yeah, see, what you want to do is you
Yes, I
want to
can.
keep the guys on the ground to kind of like
Right,
sucker
so this
the
is a
other
lot
guy
more
to come out
tactical than I
and pick
thought,
him
you know.
up.
Thought it was going to be quite casual. Oh, that explodes.
Oh my god.
Well, obviously didn't pay
He's
enough
right behind the
attention in the
tree.
COD 4 campaign. Use that.
He's going for his
Play
butt.
in. Oh, we've been flanked. Die. Hit fire is not accurate at all.
I think
Push him.
team
Let's go.
is
Yes, okay. We've evened it up,
friendly
lads.
fires on.
Execution as well there at the end. So this is match point then. Surely. Savior.
Final round.
I've got to get some ammo now, look. Get the ammo back. I think there were a couple of other game modes too. Yeah, so that just gives you stamina back, I think.
I
Nothing
mean,
to
it's
do
free
with
to
health.
play. I might download it and try
I've
it
got a lot
out.
to learn about this game. I bet if there are any veteran players watching, they're just like, Jack, you're an idiot. It probably comes as second nature though, doesn't it? If you've been playing it for a while. You know everything about it. It's all new to me. Oh,
Yeah, I believe this thing came out. Let me see when it came out.
okay, sniper down. Is that medic at the back AFK?
I think it came out in April.
I think this guy's AFK. Ain't gonna stop me. Guy here. Come on, Tartan, dude. Blast him. Blast him. Do it. Get the execution. Yes!
Very
We
positive.
get the win.
Got very
We went from
positive.
2-0 down and we came back and won it. That Tartan
Recent
guy
reviews
is
are very
absolutely
positive. All
styling.
reviews are very positive. Came out April
Look at
12th,
that.
2023.
Oh, they all look so tactical compared to me. I'm just a normal, innocent man.
All right, real quick, let me bring this over. It's got a starter pack for $7.99. Then it's got a Caliber Diablo Sand Devil Battle Pack. So it is selling like skins for $30. Not really too sure what you're getting with this. For $30, this kit contains Marksman Operator Diablo from Collection. Okay, Sand Devil Legendary Outfit. 30-day of premium. Premium speeds up in-game progress and unlocks premium objectives. 20% more XP in all teammates. Active premium. 10% XP in all teammates. 100% XP for all types of combat. 5% extra XP for all types of combat. 30% XP in the new Battle Pass. Yeah, so they're selling you basically XP. It's a free-to-play game. Yeah. So that's where they're getting it. Free-to-play, and then you can get the premium type stuff for XP. You see if they have... Free-to-play shooter about real special force, fast-paced, exciting firefights, PvP, PvE modes. Tons of ways to play a role in combat, operator customization, and growth. There's a PvE mode, huh? Interesting. Legendary outfits, pick your role, assault, medic, marksman, support. Various combinations of fighters provide a lot of different interactions and ways to fight. So you have Dominate. Okay, so you got PvP, fight competitive matches between two teams in showdown and hacking modes. You got PvPvE, take the lead in fighting other players and aggressive AI opponents in frontline mode. And then you have PvE, complete combat missions with other players in point sweep and special operation modes. These two things sound good to me. PvPvE and PvE. Go to the frequently asked questions here. Already have account, create discount Caliber. Do you have a download the game for scratch to play on Steam? Can I switch to Steam later? Caliber also a website any different from the Steam version? Will you be able to participate in the Steam event by playing Caliber via the launcher? Nothing really. No account information, system requirements. Okay. There you go. Looks pretty interesting.
Man. Okay, level 3. Volk. That's my operator. Something happened.
That's what I'm waiting for, Fate.
How did we
I want
do?
Arc Raiders.
10 kills,
we haven't
2
heard
deaths.
anything
That's all right.
about it.
Okay. Oh no. Oh no. This is.
I think
this
it's
is
only
just
on PC,
overwhelming
Jesse.
for me. I can't be doing with that. What the hell? Are these all the different characters that you can play?
Kylo says, looks like the Activision Blizzard King deal got approved by the EU. Not sure what does that if that does anything. No, it does. If the EU says yes, then it goes through, and then what happens, Kylo, basically the deal's done. The CMA will stick to their guns, and basically the UK doesn't get if Activision puts the Diablo and stuff onto Game Pass per se, UK wouldn't get it, but everybody else would. I'm worried about the silence behind it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good. Okay, let's take a look at this real fast. Look at all the characters you can unlock or use.
Wait, why is there World War II people here? What? That's a full World War II sniper. Look at this guy. Got bloody M1 Garand by the looks of it. That guy looks like a pilot. This dude here. Thompson. That's the most American man that they've conceived. There are 4 different
Graphics look
classes.
good in this game.
Assault, medic, support, and sniper, I think. Who was I playing? I was playing as this guy, Volk. What have I got? How do I customize like my guns or anything? Volk. This is my progress.
Yeah,
I'm
Luke,
really
I'll look at
confused.
it
Anyway, let's
later.
play
We're not
another
going to
game.
talk about that this morning.
Oh, these are the
I got
other game
things that
modes.
we already
Point
have
sweep. Oh, there's PvE.
on the docket.
And there's PvPvE as well. They're level gated though. So at the moment I can only play this one, which is PvE. Showdown we just played, or Annihilation. Should we try Annihilation? Great movie, by the way.
Well, maybe we'll
Natalie
play this
Portman,
tonight.
Top
Maybe we'll
soundtrack.
play this tonight.
Creepy
I'll
bears,
download it and try
aliens.
it out.
What more do you want? Okay. So this looks like TDM. Assault support. Yeah, you pick your role. So you can only have 1 role per team, I think. These are oh, it gives you the wait times. That's cool. So Assault, obviously the most popular because it's got the longest wait time. You got these different camos here for your guy. I mean, I'm never gonna do any of this, but what's this? Oh, different shirt camos, emotes. Here is no emoticon for how I feel. Oh my god, firecrackers, snowball. That's Doctor Strange. You can't just conjure snow out of thin air. Selfie. Oh no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, he used the flash. Unforgivable. Look at his skills.
Yeah, I mean, I
This
would
is
rather play
insane.
it on console myself.
Are these
But
perks or something? Reduces the weapon's maximum bullet spread. So there's just some straight upgrades you can get if you play the game long enough. I think you can kind of shortcut it as well if you pay, but I don't want to be doing that. I'm ready. Let's go. I think I'm the lowest level player on the team as well. 3. Oh, I'm such a noob, aren't I? That's Sith crazy and Axis.
Earn points by eliminating the enemy. Score 30 points before the enemy team does. Good luck.
Good luck. So we've got to score 30 points. I have a bit of that. You didn't like that, did you?
yeah, real quick. So this is what it says. I looked it up on my phone. Hogue Law has tweeted out. He says it seems that the adults have entered the room. What's truly remarkable here is that we're barely a few years removed from the EU being thought of it as a hostile jurisdiction that require the most merge concerned planning. It says, from the Commission, clears acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Merge Commission clears Activision of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft, subject to consideration. So the European Commission has approved under the EU merge regulations, Prosper Activision Blizzard. So yeah, so the EU is ready to go through. Which is pretty funny, because some of the people that talked about this and said that this would happen by May 22nd. I mean, it's May 15th, and it went through the EU. Now, obviously, does it mean it goes through completely? I don't know, but some of the analysts that did say that the EU would pass this and they would go past the CMA. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay, so what's this little green thing here? That's new. That wasn't on the previous map. Oh. Okay, this is a bit risky, this execution, but I think that guy's dead there. Get that one in the bag. 3-0. Oh yeah, here it is. What is it?
This actually looks pretty good.
I can't access it for another 20 seconds or so.
Bonus is available. Get them before your enemy.
Bonus is available. Here we go. Shield bonus. Takes a little while to get it. T. I don't know what that did. Can I see? Oh, here we go. Human shield. 80% resistance to all damage, but inflicts the marked effect for 8 seconds. So I get more damage, but if I do damage to someone, I'm marked. Friendly. The game's got friendly fire. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea. I think the spawns are flipped. Ooh. If I die, am I going to drop that bonus as well? Need to watch our flank here. So I'm going to have to confirm that kill, right? Put the armor in. Oh, that guy just gave up, so I don't have to confirm it. Oh, I'm down. Might be able to get a res, though, if I get around this corner. Help. Get the res, get the res.
Larry, that sounds like bad news for Microsoft, then? What do you mean sounds like bad news? It's good news. It sounds bad for the UK. The UK is not going to have the deal go through, but the rest of the world will.
That's nice. I think this could be quite interesting to play with a full team of 4.
Enemy sighted.
Enemy sighted? Where? Oh! Bro, you came out of nowhere. Oh! That's gotta hurt. Hit the high ground up here. Quite exposed though, isn't it? There's one there. That's unlucky for you. So every time... Oh! Ow! Ow! Sniper's got my number there. I definitely think there's room in the market for this type of game, you know. The fact that it's free to play as well is pretty cool. There's a kill. Am I clear? Try and get the finish over here. Oh, oh you re-peeked. Oh, that guy gave up. In here? Pistol? Oh, no. I thought I could get my John Wick on there. Yeah, we're not going to get a res there.
All right, we've seen enough of this. Let me see if there's anything else that he plays.
It's destroyed with this game.
It was pretty good. Interesting. So Caliber, if you guys are looking for a game on the PC, it's called Caliber. It's on Steam. It is a free-to-play game. The next thing we're going to talk about is Starship Troopers Extermination. This is from IGN.
The 1997 cult classic movie Starship Troopers by director Paul Verhoeven is a relentless war film that leans heavily into the spectacle and over-the-top nature of intergalactic warfare. With the upcoming Starship Troopers Extermination from Beyond the Wire publisher Off-World Industries, the video game adaptation seeks to expand upon the film's chaotic and gory combat sequences for its focus on co-op squad-based action. I got an early look at Extermination ahead of its early access release on May 17th and saw its unique blend of large-scale combat and tower defense-style gameplay firsthand. And so far, it has the makings for a compelling twist on the original film's concept of soldiers out of their depth being thrust headfirst
I mean, I can tell you right now, this is not going to be a very good game, but it looks like a really good time with a bunch of buds.
Into a fight against an endless swarm of alien bugs.
Once your boot's on the ground, the infestation will feel relentless.
Extermination takes place decades after the original film and sees a new division of Deep Space Vanguards face off against the extremely hostile alien species.
This is another game like what we played I guess about a year ago or so now, over a year ago. Second Extinction. This is like a Back for Blood, Left for Dead, any type of those type of games, you know what I mean? Where good old-fashioned shoot 'em up fun.
Known as the Arachnids, otherwise known as bugs. The squad of troopers takes on a variety of resource gathering and bug hunt missions, all while facing off against an onslaught of vicious arachnids that can easily tear your squad apart. The main loop focuses on running and gunning against the bugs,
That wasn't a very good look there, right? Hold on a second.
capturing territory.
Was that a glitch, or is that the bug
loop
sliding down
focuses
the
on
hill? Oh, he's dead.
Running
Okay.
and gunning against the bugs, capturing territory, and building bases and ammo depots to mostly even the playing field against the
Yeah, this is 100% Brain. This is a Second Extinction.
opposition. Before each game, you get to choose from one of 3 different class types. The jetpack-wearing assault class, a heavy class that can pull up a mobile shield to hunker down and lay down suppressive fire on bugs, and a support unit that can
This is a Game Pass game if I've ever seen one.
call up medic drones to heal the squad. When the action goes off, Extermination features some solid shooting and team mechanics at work, including a helpful ping system. But as the infestation level increases, more bugs and new variants appear, pushing the need for more focused tactics and class skills to survive. The sheer scale of the onslaught can be overwhelming.
Yeah, this is called Starship Troopers Extermination.
Especially when some of
It comes on early access on the 17th.
the sneakier bugs catch you off guard. But Extermination is fairly generous with the revives and respawns, allowing you and the squad to quickly get back into the action. On the surface, this setup is quite the norm for most other co-op focused shooters such as Warhammer 40,000 Darktide or the Left 4 Dead series. However, what Starship Troopers Extermination leans into is the sheer scale of the battlefield and the conflict. With large player counts of 16, battles are out in the open, forcing you and your squad to keep on the move to knock out the randomized objectives that take you to different areas of the field. While I did feel that there was some extended downtime in between objectives, which resulted in uneventful stretches of running around, the game's dynamic pacing and encounters
Why does this look better than Redfall? Because it is.
mostly keeps a steady flow going. One of Extermination's most interesting additions is the surprisingly robust and engaging base building system.
This is 100% Second Extinction.
At the key building points across the map, your team can rapidly build structures to create defensive perimeters, traps, and vantage points for your group to defend yourselves against the swarm of bugs. During my hands-on, I worked diligently to get a wall in place, but as soon as I turned out, the rest of the base's defenses were already built up by the rest of the squad. My favorite moments from the preview session all came from the final sequences of each match, which focus on hunkering down to defend a derelict base and wait for evacuation.
I mean, they had a patch. I don't know if it's the patch that fixed it yet.
These blend the tower defense gameplay with intense close quarters action, balancing the need to repair structures while gunning down the bugs trying to get inside. The final push, no matter how well prepared we were, always felt intense and challenging and making for an exciting capper to each round. I really enjoyed the relentless nature of Starship Troopers Extermination, which captures the film's breakneck pace. At times, though, I did feel that its heightened action made some battles feel a bit too overwhelming to keep up with. Still, getting into the thick of it reminded me of the more intense moments from the movie, which the game captures so well. The upcoming early access release puts the game in a great place to refine its mechanics and develop its overall tone and vibe. At launch, the game will have its core map and set of classes, with new content dropping within the first year. While it often spends time recreating those movie moments, which is what many film fans no doubt want, there are periods where the game's original idea shows promise, and that was exciting to see. For more on Starship...
All right, let me look this up and see what we got going on here. Was it Starship? Let's see. Early access. It doesn't say. There's no price. So early access, get instant access on Steam and start playing. Get involved with the game as it develops. Planned release is May 17th. I'll add it to the wish list. See if is that coming out? Is that coming out for console or is it just on PC? That's the question. I think it's just coming out on PC. Yeah. I don't see any other. Starship Troopers Extermination release date window. Set to release sometime in 2023, but the full version of the game won't hit stores until early access. Box. It looks like it will launch at $24.99, but also gets more expensive as Offworld adds more to the game. So it looks like the business structure that they're trying to do is get in early access, pay less money, and then as it goes, I don't know if it's free content or if they every time they add something, it's just going to make the price of the game more expensive. Not really too sure. Let me see what this says. Oh, can't read that. Offworld Industries, first-person shooter game Starship Troopers, Extermination Base is all inspired by Starship Troopers, the movie. Let's go everything. Game, platform, trailers, and more. Okay, Starship Troopers, sometime in 2023. Starship Troopers Extermination Early Access. Won't hit stores until Early Access Edition has been out for 1 year. The Early Access Edition is also released sometime in early to mid-2023. So it's not coming out for a while. So Early Access Edition comes out 2 days from now on Wednesday. And then the original, the full release of the game is not coming out for 1 year after Starship Troopers has been out. So we're talking next summer is when it gets in fully released. This is doing the exact same type of play game plan as Second Extinction. Cheaper, lower price game, kind of updated as they go. Cooperative gameplay, 12-player, and team up squads of 4 and defend your base, competitive objectives, gather resources, and try to kill your bugs in sight. 3 playable classes, build defenses, class progression system, 5 unique bug types, escalation and infestation levels, large-scale battles, ground war, and a ping system. It's possible that developers might release the title on more platforms, such as console or PlayStation 5 and Xbox players, but it's also needed to wait until closer to release date to find out. Yeah, so this is far off, so it'll only be on PC. Do you think this game will last more than a year? With games like this, if they want to test it out, this is something not only do I think that PlayStation and Xbox should do, but early access like this, they should 100% do what they did for Grounded or any other preview program. Take this, put it on the console, preview program. It's on Game Pass, it's on PlayStation Plus, and when it comes out, you just take it off those platforms and then charge it. So obviously, if I want to opt in for the game and want to support the developers, then I should be able to get it for a lower price. If I want to play the game and help them test out their stuff, you play it on Game Pass in the preview program or PlayStation Plus preview program, whatever. And then once it comes out, you pull it off those platforms. Unless you purchased it, then you can continue playing it. It's like a thank you. Hey, thanks for helping us. You played for a smaller price. Then you can continue playing it. And if you didn't buy it, then it comes off those platforms, and you have to buy it for the full price thing. Yeah, that's what I think they should do. They put a ping system. Well, it's funny because, yeah, communication is key. The ping system gives players a quick... They had a ping system in Second Extinction. We played Second Extinction, and we actually liked it. Me, Brain, and Sarge, we played it. It was actually a pretty fun game. You would fight against dinosaurs instead of bugs, right? It was actually pretty good. Yeah, when you're we have a ping system. Our first person characters have legs. That's a selling point. You can see their legs if you look down. Okay, the next game, we're going to look at some gameplay here, but this one is called, I think I have a trailer here. Yeah, so this next game I want to talk about is called Silica. Okay, it's an immersive blend, and I actually like games that take risks and stuff now, right? It's called Silica, Strategy Strike and Harvest. It's an immersive blend of first-person shooter and an RTS, each true to its respective genre. Okay, and I was like, well, how's that going to work? So let's see if we can. Is there actual video that I can look at? This seems interesting. All right, let me see if I can find.
In the year 2351, we discover Balturus, an exoplanet located thousands of light years from Earth. Buried beneath the silica crystals, we found Balterium, an element so unique it has the potential to power our society.
This better be the best set of legs I've ever seen.
Generations to come. When we first landed there, we thought we were alone. We could not be more wrong.
Look, this is like Starship Troopers as well. Here's what I'm confused about. I can play first person in this game, and also it's an RTS? I mean, I'll be honest, this looks better than Starship Troopers.
Hi, I'm Martin Militarek, and I'm the project lead of Silica.
Who builds the bases, vehicles for the other players?
RTS and FPS mix of something.
So it's like a Commander, Sarge?
Equivalent to Dune 2 and StarCraft combined in about the year 2008. This was a project which I really wanted to make, and Balturus, which is the name of the planet, is from the original idea. The initial idea behind the game was actually, it was meant to be called Marine Mission 1, where there was meant to be a multitude of planets of varying biomes, and you were meant to fight for them through this long campaign. That was the original concept, which was way out of scope to achieve in one person. So it started actually about 2008, where I started developing it in the Doom 3 engine as a mod. But then I kind of cancelled that very quickly, where it was just very clear that the technology was out of date. And so instead I jumped back into it in 2018, 10 years later, ironically. And yeah, that's where I started. I started doing it in my own free time in the evening.
Did you buy this, Sarge? The player needs to harvest resources to the commander, and the commander builds the bases and vehicles for the players. So it's sort of like Hell Let Loose a little bit, right?
And it grew until it became a full-time project in 2020. Bohemia Interactive got involved in the year 2020, where I showed the project in a prototype phase to Marek Spaniel, the CEO, and he liked it, and we agreed that it would make sense to make this as a separate project outside of Bohemia Interactive itself. Silica became part of Bohemia Incubator when it was decided that we would make this project full-time under the Bohemia Incubator flag, published through Bohemia Interactive. What I find to be a big benefit of going through Bohemia Incubator versus developing it solo is that you get publishing support, marketing support, and all that, which you really would not get if you were developing it on your own. I initially planned to have this project done within 5 years, doing it free time, but in retrospect, I see that was not a very realistic example or realistic timeline. In reality, that would have taken much longer. So thanks to the way I can work here, I can get it done much faster. We chose early access for initial Silica release because we want to gather feedback, see how you guys play the game, what you enjoy, and adjust the game accordingly. And we're sticking to early access for 1 year with several major updates planned. The current state of the game involves 3 factions: Sol.
It seems like that's the method, right? Starship Troopers is doing it early access for a year. These guys are doing early access for a year. Second Extinction did it for a year.
Inventory and Aliens features 3 game modes: Prospector, Strategy, and Arena, and is fully playable in all 3 game modes, in both single player and multiplayer with friends, for example. During early access, we want to focus on improving what we have, as well as adding some additional features such as flying units, improving the AI overall, and adding localization. What I would say makes Silica unique from other projects is the seamless blend of RTS and FPS. It's a vast open world with realistically sized units and...
That's pretty cool though, right? So somebody's playing an RTS, and then all the players that are on there are actually people, like live people in your army.
Buildings, and if you play as RTS, it feels like an RTS. If you play as FPS, it feels like an FPS. There's realistic ballistics, damage, and so on. So everything kind of combines to give a unique experience, at least in my opinion. I chose to go with Unity because it's really easy to develop in. I enjoy the language, I enjoy working with the tools, and at the time, Enfusion, which I was very familiar with, wasn't ready for these individual projects. It was heavily under development with Armor Forger. For me, the most fun part of development was definitely implementing the aliens. Implementing the crabs, how they can walk on walls and they can cluster in this big group and swarm.
So can you be the bugs? For example, Sarge, do you know that?
Fun for me. I'd say the most challenging part of developing Silica was the multiplayer element. Making sure to not put too much information through the network, bogging it down, while at the same time handling, a large ping rate, for example, 300 milliseconds when I play with my brother who's in Australia. So definitely that
looks like you can be the bugs.
Biggest challenge, especially given that everything is physics-driven. So especially the interactions between objects. So I'd say that was definitely the largest challenge. My brother really helped me during the development process, mainly due to his honesty. He was helping me test the game and so on, but because he gave me such brutal feedback at times, it was really useful in shaping the game. So definitely that's a big thanks to him. So the inspiration behind...
No, you don't want people giving you brutal constructive criticism. You want them to lie to your face and tell them, oh no, your game's great. Fantastic. That way you can get much better, right?
Bolterus, the planet, was definitely Mars. That was a very heavy inspiration, as well as, of course, one cannot forget Dune, specifically Arrakis. As for the aliens themselves, that's a kind of mix between Starship Troopers and StarCraft, which, kind of coincide to a degree. But yeah, that's definitely the biggest inspirations for the planet and its inhabitants. My advice for new players getting into Silica would be to play with friends online. Using voice over network, you can coordinate attacks and so on. So one player can be the commander while the others play as co-op on the same team, for example, or even against each other. That's the best way to play it as well. Definitely, I would like to thank my friends, my co-workers, and most importantly, my family for going through this difficult time. I spent a lot of overtime working on this project, which was time I didn't get to spend all that much with my family. So definitely my family.
We knew about the MMO Lord of the Rings game. I guess they just teamed up with them to what, distribute it? That's the trailer. That's a wish list. All right, this guy is actually playing it a bit. Let me see what he is. This is Detox Labs. We have their channel in the description below as well.
And much sooner than anticipated. The RTS FPS hybrid genre is anything but saturated, and that's likely because it is so difficult to satisfy the desires of both
Dude, this looks better than Starship Troopers.
Strategy and FPS players.
So is, as far as the RTS part, am I just like, obviously I can't click on you and move you. I can build the bases and stuff. But the guys that are moving, do I have to make more? Is there, I guess what I'm asking, maybe they'll say in the video, but is there a moment where you're making a bunch of AI NPCs of troops, and then the guys that, like, if I die, just take one of those places of the other guy on the field, or am I respawn as myself again? You see what I'm saying? Like, does he get to move the pieces, or is it just the person, like, I'm the first person, so I'm moving the character and he's just watching me and building the resources and whatnot?
Like it's been doing. Yeah, well, this AI is actually going inside the building. It's not going to do what I wanted it to do, but it actually went in the building. Oh, it did! It killed Stewie! Stewie! You got wrecked by an AI commando, my dude.
That's interesting.
The scale of units feels perfect. Goliaths are truly monstrous, and the sight of 100 crabs charging you or a hunter chasing you through a base can quickly cause panic. There is a day-night cycle, which quickly changes the feel and your ability to fight the enemy in every match.
Another ping system. That's right,
touch
Jared.
For an RTS FPS hybrid. The environments
We're
feel
running theme
vast
today.
and hostile, with maps like the Badlands hitting you with some wicked sights. The fun factor is ultimately there with Silica, and my community and I have had some great fun already. The battles feel epic, and you find yourself imagining just how good and intense this game could become further down the line, when players are more attuned to the game and matches start going down to the wire.
So you can just run inside the vehicle. So if he makes 10 vehicles and there's 10 players, then all 10 players can get into a vehicle.
Music this good has the power to really elevate a game's experience, and in Silica's case, this music will change nicely in relation to what's happening on screen, which really aids, once again, to that immersion factor. After playing quite a few games, its full potential. So let's talk about the bad. There is a massive amount of fundamental RTS quality of life missing in Silica. There are no unit audio cues on unit or structure selection, and when giving
Silica
commands,
right now is
there are currently
$20
no commander
on
warnings when your
Steam.
units or structures are under attack, and nothing
early access,
flashing on
like
the
they
minimap
said.
to catch your attention when it's needed.
Came out May 3rd.
Well, the minimap is simply too small to really see what you need at a glance. Additionally, while you can create unit control groups, double selecting that control group does not take you to their position, and using the minimap while a unit is selected basically deselects it. You got to realize, guys, that I can't, when I give units hotkeys,
Jared, Battlefield made a game like this.
So I'm having to
I think it was Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4. They actually had a commando mode where you would play on a tablet, and you can call in like different strikes and stuff like that. They actually had a real-time strategy aspect. One player played it as a real-time strategy, and everybody else was the ground guys.
Move around the map, which is a little bit archaic. So sending your units around the map quickly
The 3 or 4
is cumbersome. The maps
It was 3.
look great, but they are not conducive of balanced gameplay. Starting areas need to provide the same amount of resources and the same opportunities for expansion, for example. Symmetrical maps are a must in my opinion, and if we're going to go with asymmetrical maps, at least make starting positions balanced and symmetrical, providing factions with equal opportunities to succeed and customize
see,
their
he's
strategy
connected-
from the beginning.
He's moving them. That's a single player game?
Belterium field here. Let me find another one. Another good example of bad map design are certain maps where your starting base is immediately vulnerable to cliff-based attacks, which are horribly difficult and almost impossible to deal with as humans, but much easier to deal with as aliens. It's impossible to get units into hard-to-reach cliffs, where alien units can hit your base and units with impunity. This just isn't fun or fair to deal with, in my opinion. Maps should provide equal opportunity for both sides to play to their strengths, but an I win if I get here strategy should not be possible. While on the subject of maps, starting areas, at least for the humans, need to be flatter, so we can place structures the way we want without being at the mercy of the environmental design. For example, sand dunes blocking large areas inside your base for placing structures. This is frustrating and leads to extended periods of time where you are trying to place structures in a logical manner, but ultimately are incapable due to the map's design. AI and pathfinding. Here's one thing that isn't surprising, but the AI and pathfinding needs work, and nowhere is this more obvious than with the Harvester. The Harvester is gloriously big, it's clunky, and it's industrial looking, but its basic pathfinding is bad, resulting in economic victory by default for the aliens right now. The Harvester will catch on fields of Bolterium, fail to turn in the right direction to free itself of obstacles.
Well, that's
and
why
often
it's in
get
early
into traffic
access, huh?
jams with other Harvesters and units. Another thing I don't like at the moment with the Commander is you don't get any interaction prompts. For example, if I move my mouse over this Bolterium, it's not like highlighting it as if I can collect it like I should be harvesting it. And again, like the Harvester is dumb. Another glaringly obvious pain
That's AI
point
from
is
from
AI-friendly
Redfall.
fire. The rocket launcher is a particularly volatile friendly unit, single-handedly destroying friendly structures and units if you are not careful. If an alien crab gets atop one of your harvesters, vehicles or structures, friendly units will make quick work of both until nothing is left. This obviously needs to stop, so I think they should make it so friendly units should only use accurate weapons fire like machine guns and the hover tank's coax to get rid of alien joyriders unless specifically ordered to use their main weapon. As you can probably tell, most of my issues revolve around the RTS mode for now, but when you're running around on foot, base signposting is a real pain in the arse. Yes, you can aim at structures and look at the information in the bottom right of your screen, but buildings should be immediately obvious without relying on your pointer. Some form of base signposting, either via structure visuals or something highlighting individual structures on the map, would go a long way to improving the
It actually looks pretty good, though. I mean, obviously it's an early access, but it's very interesting what they're doing, and I applaud the developer for trying something different, right? Not being the exact same. Like, he could have just made a first-person shooter, you know?
For your players. Another major point for FPS players is the lack of ability for them to contribute to your faction at all times. There should always be something for a player to do once they spawn, whether that's contributing to building early structures, collecting Bolterium, or aiding in expanding your base. In early game, your players often need to wait for additional buggies to be created to feel useful. The map and areas are also so vast, it's hard to move anywhere quickly on foot. Now, it is early days, strategies and metas haven't been developed yet, so this could change, but I'm just throwing ideas out there. Perhaps players should have access to some player-only utility roles. An example would be a player engineer or the scout that could build special nodes for the aliens or outposts for the humans, which give you further reach than the ones the commander can build, allowing you to expand quicker in the early game. They could jump in one of the starting buggies and race off to the direction you wanted to expand in. I don't know, just an idea. It's a small one, but being able to easily identify player units versus AI units would also be helpful when you're on foot. Just a name tag when highlighting a unit would go a long way here.
Yeah, that seems like
it's
basic.
Something I imagine is already in the works, or something that Martin just didn't get a chance to put in before early access.
Yeah, Mo,
As
we
I
already
said
talked
before,
about it
Silica is a very
about
fun,
30 minutes ago.
immersive, and beautiful looking sci-fi game that is attempting to tackle a notoriously difficult genre. I believe it has what it takes to succeed here, and most of the problems I've described, while not all of them, should be easily fixable over time. The game runs well, but we do have a pretty strong computer, and the experience of playing Silica is a positive one overall. It's up to us, Martin and his team now, to fully realize this game's potential. Once a lot of the bigger problems
this is interesting.
are dealt with, we can get into the nitty-gritty of balance.
It's
and
funny
meta.
that I didn't plan this in any way, shape, or form. I saw this in my feed, and then I saw the Starship Troopers one, and I was like, oh, I didn't know, because I didn't watch these ahead of time. I didn't know Silica was another bug, you know. So we watched the Starship Troopers one, and then we had this one, and they're both pretty much the same, obviously. So interesting. That looks pretty good, man. That looks pretty good. So Starship Troopers early access for 1 year. I think it's $24 for that one. I'm not sure, unless that's the price when it comes out a year later. And then we have Silica, which right now is $20. Both Starship Troopers early access on the 17th. So if you're interested in that, early access on Steam on the 17th for Starship Troopers Extermination. And then if you like Silica, Silica's out now for $20. It's an RTS / first-person shooter game. You can check that out over on Steam as well. We looked at Caliber. Caliber was a free-to-play on Steam, which is a SOCOM base. It has a PvP mode, a PvE mode, and a PvEVP mode, or a PvPvE mode. You can check that out as well. We might download that and check it out, and if I like it, then maybe we'll play it on stream. So lots of good stuff that we watched this morning. We had Warframe. We watched Warframe. The new expansion for Warframe is out, so check that out as well. And then we looked at Diablo 4, the final thoughts, what people thought about the beta and what's going on with that. We also went over. We need it back. Yeah, Super Dave. I love SOCOM. Did you watch this footage of this? Did you see this, Super Dave? Did you see this footage of Caliber? This is a free-to-play game right now on PC. Obviously, I don't know if you play on PC, but this reminds me of SOCOM. But this is called Caliber. This is a free-to-play game on Steam right now. So we talked about this as well. Yeah, Mo, we talked about it. Someone popped in, said the EU. I think it was Kylo Green said it. Then I looked it up on Twitter about 30 minutes ago. Reddit from Hogue Law that they went through. What's it called? What I thought was funny, Mo. People, I do a lot of research, right? And I watched a lot of analysts, and a lot of analysts were saying that the deal would go through. Michael Packner, sorry about that. Michael Packner, who was talking about it, said that it would go through on the 22nd. He said that the EU would go through, and when they go through, then everyone else will fall in line, right? The difference between the CMA is only a part of the UK, but the EU represents a much bigger area, okay? And I said that the deal is going to go through, and again, I'm nobody, but my thought process was that it would go through. And the reason it would go through is because the UK is such a small base area. And Michael Packner said that if it does get denied or blocked by the UK, they'll just segregate them out and make their own little section and obey what the law wants there. So Activision Blizzard will go through, but any kind of game like Call of Duty, Diablo, Overwatch, whatever, won't go onto Game Pass in the UK. But as soon as the EU goes through, everybody else in the world will get the deal, and if they put any games on Game Pass, those games will be on Game Pass except in the UK, and then just the people in the UK won't get that. Fall in line, Xbox. What are you talking about, Travis? What are you talking about? So that we've been talking about that for months and weeks, but I stopped talking about it because, again, I'm just a nobody on the internet talking about stuff and what I think in my own process, not what I know on factual and stuff, because I don't follow it. I'm not a lawyer, you know. It just feels like the deal is going to go through and they can't stop it, and it doesn't look like they're stopping it. I mean, the guy literally does analysts for like a living. You know what I mean? And they always say he's wrong. And my point to that is nobody's right 100% of the time. Nobody's right 100% of the time. And I always say that if you're a baseball player and you hit 1 hit per game, you have Hall of Fame numbers, man. Super Data says, I think I'm gonna get Diablo on PC. It looks better now than it did on the first beta. Yeah, I'm gonna get it on Xbox. I'm gonna get it on Xbox. Like I don't have when I make my predictions or thoughts, I don't have it where I'm coming from a fanboy perspective in any way, shape, or form. And I'm also not coming from a hate from any way, shape, or form, right? I just look at the information that's put in front of me, right? I look at facts, stats, you know what I mean? Like I look at all these things, past things, and history, the way, like the FTC can't stop anything, even though it's still going to go to court, it's still going to go stuff, it's going to go through. They're going to push them by. It's $1 trillion company, and I know people don't want to hear this, but, you know, money talks, bullshit walks. You know what I mean? Like, the money's going to go through. They're going to get their money. They're going to be... I personally don't like consolidation, right? But doesn't mean because I don't like consolidation that, oh, well, it's not going to go through, right? I mean, it's going to go through. It's going to go through. Do you prefer Xbox over PC? The reason I prefer Xbox over PC, Jared, is because I don't have a super powerful computer. So if I play games on my PC while I stream, it kind of bogs it down a little bit, and I can't have the best experience. Now, when I play PC games when I'm not streaming, I could put the graphics and settings up higher, and I enjoy it that way. But it's just easier to play on a console and then stream it onto the computer than it is for me to play on the computer and stream it on the computer. Right, says performance-wise, D4 had some stuttering for me on the PlayStation 5. I didn't experience any stuttering or rubber banding. People were talking about rubber banding earlier, right? I was playing on the Xbox Series X, but I played less than 4 hours. I got to level 20 in less than 4 hours, so I didn't play too long. I just wanted to get to level 20 and kind of put it down. I had my enough play on the last beta, so I didn't put too much time into this one. Yeah, I say that the FTC is in the shit right now. Anyway, they need to get their house in order. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, Mo, but at the same time, they're not going to stop it. They're not going to stop it. Yeah, check this out. It's called Caliber. It's on the PC, and it's a free-to-play game. A free-to-play game, Super Dave. I had does day issues in input. Oh, delay issues in the input. On PC, on Xbox, on PlayStation, Fate, which one? I think we'll see a trailer or something for Wolverine for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of cosmetic stuff. So we looked at in Caliber. If you go into the Steam page, you'll look at there's like premium stuff that they sell for like cosmetics, and they boost up your XP. So if you're looking for a game just to play, your XP will probably be small. But if you get the premium, then they make your XP shoot up a lot. You're on PC, Fate. GGA Bronco, thank you very much for the membership. Appreciate that. Oh, I want to, because I said this in the beginning of the stream, and I want to say it again at the end. We're going to be ending here soon. We're going to have a member stream on Friday. We're going to have a member stream on Friday. And what I did was, there's this racing game. I would like to do this with Circuit Superstars, but I'm waiting for them to do like a spectator mode for Circuit Superstars. There's another one called Formula Top, which is also I'm waiting for them to put the NPC type of stuff in there. But there's an older game. It's called Ultimate Racing. I think it's called 2D. And basically, we're going to have on Friday night, we're going to have a little fun. I'm going to be like a broadcaster. We're going to do some racing here. Anybody that's been a member for us for a really long time, what I did was the ones with the top memberships, meaning they've been with me the longest, I inputted all your names inside of a race car game. Okay? I picked them randomly and put them on a team. The only person I put on the team with me purposely was me and Sarge, and it's all in Team GXG. So on Friday night, we're going to have a member stream where we actually watch and I'll broadcast and talk about the racing as we play. So if you're a member, you want to come by, it's going to be a member stream only. We're going to have a little bit of fun with the members inside the stream. So you guys come out.
Thanks for becoming a member.
On Friday night around 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. We're going to have a little fun, having a little championship series going on with the members that have been with me for the they're not playing. This is literally all AI. I have no control over anything. It's just AI going around. So if you guys like that, come on by for the members. And I appreciate you guys being a part of this community. And we're going to have other games like this as well. We're going to have a night where we do Fall Guys. We're going to have another night where we kind of do other types of games like this, where we just have fun and either, competitively like this, or where we actually play. So yeah, check it out. This Friday, we're going to have our first member stream over here on 30NSG. Robert Jones, thank you very much for the 3 months. I'm not on the long-lasting members list. There's people that were at 4 months, and basically I just went down the list of people at 4 months and then 3 months. So if you missed it on this one, Robert Jones, I could add you. We could always do different races and whatnot, but I just grabbed the top spots. What I thought was cool. Here, where is it? Do I have to retire? Do you want to leave the championship? Yes. Yeah, so when I play this, you can actually, there's so many different cars and different things we can do. So there's like motorcycles. So for instance, what I'm saying, Robert Jones, is that right now we're doing the Formula One, right? If the following Friday we decide to do like motorbikes, I'll change the names up and put different people's names in for the motorbikes and whatnot, right? So this particular Friday, we have this is the people that are on the list right now. Okay, obviously it's me and Sarge in GXG, right? In Team Thunder, we have Kevin George and YouTube Lurker. Spark Racing, and I didn't name these, by the way. These were automatically. The only one I changed was GXG. Okay. We have Quintar and Stealth S Gaming on a team. For Team Blizzard, which I think is kind of funny, but I didn't put it there. Akuta Papa and Jesse Mack are both on that team. Fast Force, we have the Brainchild and El Dente. Red Fury, we have Risky and Jaggy Snake. We have Turbo Motorsports, we have Todd the Gator and Chief. Bullet Racing, we have Sean Whitworth and Behemoth Titan. Bolt Racing, we have Melrose Mike and Christine Axis Quest. And Energy Racing, we have Big Mad Mo and Water Bear on Mars. So that's the teams that we have going this Friday. He put on a Skippy outfit and then did Just Dance. Oh, did he? We'll never do that. We'll never do that. Never do that. Do I play on PC? I do play on PC, but not as much on stream. So like on the weekends, if I put a game on, like I played, we played Marvel Future Revolution. We did Fantasy Star. No, what was that one called? Tower of Fantasy, whatever that one game was we played. We played Lost Ark on PC. Super Dave, you want to be on Team Blizzard? All right, when I make the next match, the next round, you'll be on Team Blizzard. I'll never unsee it. Yeah, there's a lot of games I want to play Fate on PC, but I just don't. I mean, I have a good graphics card now, but I try to give the best experience. I don't want to put a stuttering or bad graphics on while I'm playing on PC, while I'm streaming on the PC. I'm gonna get more RAM. I have 16 gigs of RAM right now. I'm gonna try to put more RAM in. Sarge already said for my birthday he would upgrade my RAM. Yeah, I play, but I play a lot of PC games just off stream. I have V Rising. I never played it though. Fate. I never played it. I have it, but I never played it. I got a code like last year sometime. I just never did it. Yeah, Bronco, if you go to our Discord, you have to do the rules. If you read the rules, you should just be able to click it and it should open up to everything else. Yeah, so because I switched over our Discord, I made a new rules section a couple weeks ago. If you click the rules, you should just hit the check mark at the bottom, and it should open up everything else for you. And then once you link your YouTube channel with your Discord, it should open up everything else if you're a member, which you are. Have you tried Realm of the Med on PC? Never even heard of it. Morning, Akuda Papa. Let me see what that is. Or what's it called? Realm of the Med? Realm of the Med. Realm of the Mad God? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, I don't know. That's like, is that like Vampire Survivor? That's what it looks like. Yeah, my brain can't do that. Yeah, I can't do it. The Vampire Survivor I get, like I can do it, but I can't do that. This to me seems worse than that. And I'm not saying anything bad about the game, just the graphics. My brain can't take it. Can't do it anymore. I'm sure it's a fun game. I just can't do it. Here, I'll bring it up on screen so people can see it. I can't do it. We're done with the topics, Akuda. What we had this morning is basically we talked about Diablo 4 this past weekend. People with our concerns and whatnot was an experience that happened this weekend. We talked about a game called Caliber, which is a free-to-play game that looks like SOCOM. We talked about Starship Troopers Extermination. We talked about another one called Silicon, which is a real-time strategy / first-person shooter. And there was one more thing we talked about. Oh, Warframe. We went over Warframe. A new expansion of Warframe was out, and we watched Force Gaming as he talked about it and whatnot. There's a couple of videos I watched about open world games, like survival games, and I'm pretty interested in. I learned about a dwarf fortress recently. Oh, is that on Steam? Let me see what that one looks like. Dwarf fortress. 29. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like I just can't. Is this like an MMO? What is this? I I can't go backwards. I don't know what it is. My brain's right now. My brain's freaking out. I'm like interested in this, but I'm like no. Procedurally generated everything. Yeah, I gotta. I'll have to do my research on it. Even if it is a fantastic game, my brain just can't do it anymore. Dawnlands. What's that one, Fate? Dawnlands. Free to play. Okay, this one seems okay. This is like a Valheim RuneScape type of thing. This is interesting. I kind of like the art style of this one. Super Dave's like, nope, can't do this one. It's too cartoony. Interesting. It has building. Piqued my interest now. I've been waiting to play Ark Survival, but it just keeps crashing on console. Ark Survival, the older one that's been out for years? What system are you on, Jones? Yeah, this is more of a... I don't want the music. Yeah, I can see that Genji Impact feel. Bronco says, I can only play roguelikes now. The combination in depth, but bite-sized play sessions really works for me. This looks interesting. Free to play though. Have you played it yet? Fate? Is it sort of like Fantasy Tower and Genji where it's like a gacha mechanic in this? No, I haven't tried Cult of Lamb, but people keep telling me keep telling me about it. This is what I would do in the game. I would just play this game so I could... I love creating stuff. If you like Star Wars, I like Old Republic. What was the other one you said there? The Great War Western Front. You're going to show gameplay? Okay. Dude, show me gameplay. Stop showing me cutscenes here. I would rather play Company of Heroes. The new Company of Heroes is coming out. My standard for Ginshi, or my standard for gacha, has been raised by Ginshi. Honestly, judging a lot of content and other games based off of them. Have you gone back and played? Have you gone off and played the tower game, the Fantasy Tower? Is it called Tower of Fantasy or Fantasy of Tower? I forget what the hell that was called. Tower Fantasy. Yeah, it hooked me for a little bit, but then I couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't do it anymore. I'm looking forward to Wayfinder. I like playing Wayfinder. I can see myself playing Wayfinder a little bit. We have Diablo coming up. We have our little Formula 1 game that we're going to be doing. What else have we been playing? I've been playing a lot of older games again. Craftopia. I played Craftopia. I really liked a game a couple years ago. It's called Boundless. It's like Minecraft, but much, in my opinion, a much better game than Minecraft as far as building and whatnot. I played Marvel Snap for like 3 weeks and I stopped. I think it's a great game. It just doesn't hold my attention. Doesn't hold my attention. Because I'm bored? I'm actually not bored, Sarge. I'm actually enjoying like Jedi Survivor. I'm playing Circuit Superstars again. It's not that I'm bored. I'm just looking for like a new game. You know, gaming is I'm not going to play. I don't want to play games anymore like Destiny. I don't want to sit there and play the same game for fucking 8 years. I don't. I want to play a game where I play a game and I enjoy that game and I suck it all up and then I'm like, put it down and come back later. What is Boundless on? It's on PlayStation. It's on PlayStation and I believe it's on PC. It should be on PlayStation 5 if I'm not mistaken. They did it when I played it. It was an early access. Oh, I found it. There it is. I was actually really good in this game as far as I used to build like these really monstrosity things. I don't know if they still show it, but I built this sculpture. Chat actually gave me a picture off the internet and they said, you should build this. And I went in and I built this giant art piece of like this hand. It took me a really long time, but it's a voxel game, but you can 100% build a lot better in this. There's angled pieces that you can do. You can chop things in half, like the blocks, angle it. You can build stuff a lot better. Oh, I know that town. Slay of the Spire? I have not. There's a game I'm actually trying to wait. I'm waiting for. I think it's called Hightail. I've been waiting for this game forever. It's like, to me, it's like the next progression from Minecraft to Hightail. But I played this like 6 years ago now. There's like portals you go through. There's different realms. It's really cool. It's a really fun game. This game has changed a lot. Yeah, here's my here's my hand. That was mine. That's the picture people sent me. That's the people picture that they sent me, and then that's what I made inside the game. Right, not bad. There's like an opening underneath. You can go underneath the hand, inside the hand. I like Minecraft, but the combat is whacked. I think it's called Hightail, is what it... Hightail? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Hightail? Yeah. Hightail. H-Y. So this game here, I've been waiting for this game for so many years. This is like Minecraft. If you like Minecraft, Robert Jones, you would like this whenever this comes out. We don't know when this comes out. It's been in testing. This is everything and more. You can make films and stuff inside the realm of this. Got modding tools, in-game scripting. The combat's better. This trailer's 4 years old. I know a lot of people can't stand like the graphics of this. There's something about it. I like it. See, like to me, this is like 8-bit now. When I was a kid. Like I would stop playing Minecraft for this. And this is the next like evolution that I want, like my son to go from like Minecraft to something like this where it's just more of Minecraft but better. The combat looks better. The building mechanics look better. And the people that make this game were huge fans of Minecraft. And they said, well, what can we do to make Minecraft better? And then they went to go make it. They made it themselves, and that's what they're trying to do. So this looks like a much better game. But I love Minecraft. This looks like a fun game when it comes out. All right. We're going to leave it at that. I do appreciate you all coming in, hanging out with us this morning. Make sure you hit that like button. Helps us out here. We will be doing member stream this Friday, which is the racing game. I'll be doing some commentary as we do the racing and see who wins the first ever members championship kart racing. We'll be back tonight. I'm not sure what we're going to play tonight. We'll play something tonight. We're always playing something on the in the evenings. So 8 p.m. tonight. Come on back and hang out with us as we talk about video games and play video games. I appreciate you very much for coming out. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.